Imagine standing on the porch of your own home when a police officer presses a gun to your head because someone powerful decided you didn't belong there. That's exactly what happened in a gated community where money ruled, fear enforced silence, and one woman thought she owned everyone inside the gates. The gated community of Silvercrest Enclave looked less like a neighborhood and more like a private estate carved into perfection. Tall iron gates guarded streets so clean they looked staged, lawns trimmed with surgical precision, cameras perched on every corner like unblinking eyes. Nothing happened in Silvercrest Enclave without permission. And that permission came from one woman, Veronica Hale. She was the HOA president, the richest resident by far, and the unquestioned ruler of the community. Residents didn't just follow HOA rules, they feared them. Veronica decided who renovated, who parked where, who stayed, and who quietly disappeared after violations piled up. Inside those gates, she was law, judge, and executioner. What no one inside Silvercrest Enclave knew was that outside those gates, Veronica's name was already circulating in federal files. Fraud, embezzlement, racial discrimination, abuse of authority. The FBI had been circling her for months, but Veronica's money and connections made her untouchable. She had lawyers, politicians, and police chiefs on speed dial. Catching her would take something personal. That was when the Elijah Reed moved in. A six-figure moving truck rolled through the gates one quiet morning, unloading into one of the most expensive homes on the block. The sale was legal, and Veronica had not approved it. That alone made him a problem. That he was black made it, in Veronica's mind, unacceptable. From her control room, lined with monitors showing every street, Veronica watched him step onto the porch of his new home. He didn't look around in awe. He didn't seek approval. He simply belonged. Veronica felt something she wasn't used to feeling. Threatened. Within 24 hours, she arrived at his doorstep with her full HOA security detail, men in matching uniforms meant to intimidate. She didn't waste time with pleasantries. "You don't belong here." Veronica said flatly, "I didn't approve your residency. You need to leave." The man listened without interrupting. Then, calmly, he replied that he purchased the home legally through due process, and that HOA approval did not override property law. He reminded her, politely, that she was an HOA president, not the government. Veronica's smile didn't reach her eyes. Defiance. She turned and walked away, heels clicking against the stone driveway, already reaching for her phone. Inside Silvercrest Enclave, problems didn't solve themselves. They were removed. Veronica didn't raise her voice when she made the call. She never had to. Chief Harold Whitman answered on the first ring. He always did. Years of donations, favors, and quiet understandings had cemented their relationship. Veronica didn't explain the situation. She didn't need to. Her words were sharp and direct. "There's a black man in my neighborhood," she said. "I want him gone. Immediately." The chief opened his laptop while she spoke. He pulled the man's name from the property records and ran it through every database he had access to. No criminal record, no political ties, no visible wealth trail beyond the house itself. Nothing. To Chief Harold Whitman, that meant one thing. Easy. He assured Veronica it would be handled and ended the call, already forming the story in his head. Suspicious activity, trespassing, disorderly conduct, it didn't matter. Something would stick. He picked up his radio and called one officer in particular, a white cop known for being aggressive, known for not asking questions, known for doing exactly what he was told. "Go deal with a situation in Silvercrest Enclave," the chief said. "Homeowner claims there's a suspicious individual. I want him removed." The next morning, just after sunrise, the Elijah stepped out onto his porch. He was barely down the steps when the patrol car rolled to a stop in front of his driveway. The officer didn't greet him. "What are you doing here?" Officer Ryan barked. "We got reports of a suspicious black man in this area." The man looked around, then back at the officer. Calm. Controlled. "I live here," he said. "This is my house." The officer laughed. Loud, mocking. "You expect me to believe that, in a place like this?" He gestured at the property like it was evidence against him. "There's no way you own this house." "I do," the man replied evenly. "Then prove it." Officer Ryan Kessler snapped. "ID. Papers. Something." The man shook his head slightly. "I'm standing in a gated community in front of my home. I'm not required to prove ownership to you." That was it. Officer Ryan's face tightened. His voice rose. "Shut up," he shouted. "You don't get to tell me how this works." Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. Cameras silently recorded. Somewhere inside her control room, Veronica watched every second, satisfied. The officer's hand moved to his holster. And then he pulled the gun. The officer didn't just pull the gun. He raised it with intent, the barrel steady as it leveled toward the man's head. "Hands where I can see them," Officer Ryan shouted. "You're done playing smart." Have you ever seen a police officer point a gun at a man's head for standing in his own yard? What would you do if an HOA president decided you didn't belong and used the police to prove it? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where you're tuning in from. And if you believe power should never be used to silence people, make sure you like and subscribe for stories that expose the truth. Elijah didn't flinch. He didn't raise his voice. He stood still on his own porch, eyes locked on the officers, and spoke with quiet authority. "Lower your weapon," he said calmly. "You're creating a situation that doesn't need to exist." The officer scoffed, pressing the gun closer. "Shut up," he snarled. "You're getting arrested, resisting, obstruction. Whatever I decide, you had your chance." The threat was clear. This wasn't about law anymore. This was about power, about breaking someone who dared to stand his ground. Across the street, curtains twitched. A few phones lifted. Most people stayed frozen, afraid to be seen. Somewhere behind the scenes, Veronica watched the confrontation unfold on her monitors, convinced she was minutes away from watching the problem disappear. Then the air changed. The low rumble of engines cut through the silence. Black SUVs surged through the gate in rapid succession, tires crunching against the pavement. Doors flew open. Men and women in dark tactical gear poured out, weapons raised, movements sharp and disciplined. "Drop the weapon! Now! Now!" The officer froze. He looked around and realized he was surrounded. Guns pointed at him from every angle. No backup. No authority. No escape. His hand trembled. Slowly, he lowered the gun. It clattered against the concrete as agents moved in, pinning his arms behind his back. One agent stepped forward, positioning himself between the officer and the Elijah. His tone was firm, controlled. "Officer," he said, "you are being detained. You have the right to remain silent." The officer's face drained of color. Another agent turned to the man on the porch, not with suspicion, but with respect. "Sir," the agent said quietly, "are you hurt?" The man shook his head. "No." "Wait, sir?" Officer Ryan blurted, staring at Elijah in disbelief. "Why are they calling you, sir?" Elijah stepped forward slowly, calm as ever, meeting the officer's panicked stare. "You were sent here to arrest me," he said evenly, "but you were never the one in control." The officer swallowed hard. Who are you?" Elijah didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "I'm a federal undercover agent," he said. "This house is my assignment, and I'm here to investigate the HOA president, Veronica." The officer's face went completely pale. At that exact moment, the front door across the street burst open. Veronica stormed outside, fury written across her face. "What is all this?" she shouted. "Who authorized these vehicles? This is private property." No one looked at her. No one answered. An agent broke away from the formation and walked straight toward her. Veronica's voice grew louder as she marched toward the agents, heels striking the pavement like commands she expected to be obeyed. "You don't have the right to be here," she snapped. "This is a private community. I run this neighborhood. I want all of you off my property. Now." No one slowed down. An agent stepped directly in front of her, blocking her path. His expression was flat, professional, immune to intimidation. He reached for his cuffs. "Veronica," he said, "you are under arrest." The words didn't register at first. Veronica laughed, a sharp, disbelieving sound. "Arrested? Do you know who I am?" she demanded. "I own half this community. I know the police chief personally." The cuffs closed around her wrists, her face drained of color. "This is a mistake," she shouted as agents guided her toward one of the SUVs. "I didn't do anything wrong. He doesn't belong here. He's the problem." No one listened. Across the street, neighbors stared openly now, no longer hiding behind curtains. Veronica's authority evaporated in real time as she was placed in the back of the vehicle she never believed she'd see from the inside. The investigation moved fast. Agents confirmed everything within hours. Phone records showed Veronica's call to Chief Harold Whitman, demanding the man be removed. Department logs proved the chief ordered the arrest without cause. Body cam footage and witness statements exposed Officer Ryan Kessler's actions. Financial audits uncovered years of HOA funds diverted into Veronica's private accounts. Shell companies, fake invoices, racially motivated violations used to push residents out and seize properties. What the FBI had suspected was now undeniable. Veronica hadn't just ruled the neighborhood. She had been running a criminal operation. Chief Harold Whitman was stripped of his title and arrested. Officer Ryan was fired, charged, and barred from law enforcement. Veronica's assets were frozen. Her HOA dissolved. The gates of Silvercrest Enclave opened for the first time in years. Veronica was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. Weeks later, Elijah stood alone on his porch, watching the same street that once tried to swallow him whole. The cameras were gone. The guards were gone. The fear was gone. If you believe wealth, race, or influence should never decide who lives in fear and who lives free, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories where the truth finally catches up.
Like the video, subscribe the channel.